If you are stuck in your 20s in a situation that you're not happy with, you need to flip your thinking. You need to just get out of wherever you are. And that might mean Hello guys, how are we? For those of you new here, I'm a psychology student trained to be a therapist, so on this channel we talk about positivity, mindset, well-being, mental health and all things like that. So if that sounds of interest, stick around. Today I wanted to talk about a really important topic, and I know it's become a bit of a running joke that I literally introduce every video that way, but I don't talk about things that I don't feel are important. But this one I really do feel quite passionately about. Podcasts and YouTube videos about what people should do in their 20s have literally been done to death, and the reason they get done so much is because people watch them, and the reason people watch them so much is because so much is made of our 20s, and for very good reason. Our 20s is such a confusing time, and it feels like whatever we do, we kind of do it wrong. And the reason for that is because there is such a wide range of where you can be. For example, I've got friends who are married with 2 kids, with a mortgage. I've got more than one friend who's married with mortgages and kids and stuff like that. I'm the most single man you'll ever meet. I've got friends who are running their own business, earning more than their parents, who go to Marbella, Dubai for Christmas and New Year's and things like that. The only holiday I've been on in the last year was Wales. And that's why I think a lot of people sort of get confused, because they feel like, they basically just ask themselves, am I doing my 20s wrong? In my humble opinion, unless you kill someone or completely wreck your body, you can't do your 20s wrong. The podcast that sort of pushed me over the edge to actually make this video was one from Gemma at Psychology of Your 20s. Recommended this a million times. She does an amazing podcast I definitely recommend listening to. But she sort of did the roadmap for building a great life in your 20s. She did it over 2 episodes and everything like that. And I was listening to it and I agreed with most of it, disagreed with parts of it, as I do with most podcasts I listen to. But what intrigued me so much is she sort of said the same thing at the start about how everyone is so obsessed with getting it right in their 20s, and I was trying to work out what the reason for that is, and I think I've, not to brag, nailed it in the title of this video. And that's the fact that people talk about your 20s like you die at 30. And this leads to everyone trying to accomplish absolutely everything in their 20s. And the problem with that is, I mean, there's obviously a lot of problems with that. You can't do it all. But the problem is, when you try to do it all, you quite often end up doing nothing. And again, I sort of dug a bit deeper into this just in my own mind, trying to work out sort of what it is, where this comes from. And I boiled it down to one word, and that is responsibility. Saying you die at 30 is a bit dramatic, but the way people talk about it is you're free as a bird until you're 29 years old and 365 days, and on your 30th birthday you wake up married with 2 children and a mortgage. And funny enough, that's not how it works. I'm in a very weird position because I went back a year at school and I went to university very late. I spend time with a lot of people who are younger than me, some of them quite significantly younger than me. But what I find so interesting is the guys that I go to university with, some of whom are sort of 7 or 8 years younger than me, say sort of the same kind of things that I do about, oh god, I feel like I'm getting on, I feel like I haven't got much time left, I feel like I'm getting old. And obviously to me that seems absolutely ridiculous. But then when I say things like that, I can imagine to my parents who are nearly turning 60, I sound absolutely ridiculous. As I said, you can't do it all in your 20s. And the refreshing thing is, you don't need to, no matter how much it feels like that. And I think the reason it does sometimes feel like that, like I've said about the whole life ends at 30 kind of thing, but I think it's because of how many of these podcasts and YouTube videos there are and everything like that about what you should do in your 20s. People are just pulled pillar to post. And it's quite refreshing to know that you can't do everything in your 20s, because it means you've got to go, okay, well, what do I actually want? If you want to be a gajillionaire and run your own business, yeah, you probably can't spend your 20s travelling the world and partying. You probably are going to have to be that person who sits at home and grinds and works through the weekends and everything like that. If you want nothing else but a stable 9-to-5 job and a family, yeah, you probably can live a little bit more in your 20s. You're still going to need to do certain things, because if you do want that partner and family and life and everything like that, you're probably going to need some sort of career that you've built up from a younger age. It doesn't necessarily mean 18 straight to uni, straight to whatever, but you're going to need to have some sort of experience and work and under your belt by the time you get to your late 20s if you want to have that family by 30. Or on the other side of things, you might be the complete sort of free-flowing party person who they ain't got any interest in settling down anytime soon. When they meet someone, they're just going to go through life. They don't care if they get to 30 with absolutely nothing on their CV. They just want to do seasons in Ibiza, party in Marbella, Mykonos, travel, go around Southeast Asia, live in Australia, live in South Africa, go across America, stuff like that. Amazing. If that's what you want to do, that's what you can do. Everything I've just said there comes with upsides and downsides and everything like that. But you'll notice it is physically impossible to do all three of those things at the same time. And I've just named 3 types of lifestyles. There's a million ways that you can want your life to go. The one thing I would say about your 20s, which I think is pretty undeniable, is you are young. You've got a lot of time ahead of you, providing everything goes as it should. You are far too young to be in jobs that you hate, relationships that make you miserable, living in situations that you don't enjoy. You've got a life that when you're 40 and you've got a couple of kids and a mortgage, that's when you go, oh yeah, I probably can't really leave this job at the moment because it's paying my mortgage. If you're 20, if you're renting, okay, move back home or move somewhere with cheaper rent or whatever. Your 20s is too young to be miserable. And I don't want anyone to be miserable at any age, obviously, but if you are stuck in your 20s in a situation that you're not happy with, you need to flip your thinking. You need to just get out of wherever you are. And that might mean quitting your job tomorrow, getting a visa and jumping on a plane to another country and setting up a new life. And the beauty of your 20s, when you don't have that responsibility, which we talked about earlier, is you can do that. I would also like to say that you don't need to do it all in your 20s. There is nothing wrong with having fun or doing whatever in your 20s, then at 30 going, right, okay, now what do I want to do for a living, blah, 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 blah. As long as you are a mature adult by the time you're 30, as you should be, no matter what you've done, there is nothing wrong with sort of partying away in your 20s. It is also completely possible to have a family and then decide, right, I want to set up my own business and everything like that. Again, the finances may become a little bit more strained, but it is possible to do that. I think the only one that carries any weight once you start sort of having mortgages and children is the travelling thing. It obviously becomes exponentially harder to travel the world if you've got a partner, a mortgage and children. It's not fair to pull them school to school and everything like that and move them all over the world, but some people do still do it and it is doable. But I think out of all the arguments for things you need to do in your 20s, travelling probably is one of them. I want to finish off by saying, I know I've sort of reiterated, but you can't do it all in your 20s, certainly not at the same time and certainly not well. But you can create chapters. If 18 to 21 when you're at university, you want to just party and play sport, fair enough. As long as you get a good degree and actually learn something at the end of it, I've got no problem with that at all. I think that's completely fine. If you're the opposite, where you want to absolutely knuckle down through university, go into your job, and once you start earning that first bit of money, you want to go out there and party and take holidays, again, as long as you are building a career and getting on well at work and using the university degree you've got, I've got no problem with that at all. If you want to date around for the first 5 years of your 20s or whatever, and then go, do you know what? By 30 I would like a family, so now I'm going to actually sort of start to date a little bit more with a purpose. No problem with that at all. It's whatever makes you happy, not what you've been told to do or anything like that. It's about what actually makes you feel fulfilled and feel like you're moving towards something that you enjoy. To actually finish it off, and again, something that sort of made me want to make this video, I saw someone compiled a list the other day of everything we're told to do in our 20s. So travel the world, go to university, get a job, get promotions, work really hard, start your own business, get married, have a family and everything like that. And I think this was by a girl, because obviously when you're pregnant as a girl, it literally wipes you out for 9 months. That doesn't happen so much for boys. But anyway, they did the maths of if you actually did everything that you're told to do in your 20s properly, and it came to 33 years. You can't fit 33 years into 10 years. Like, this isn't a maths channel, but come on. Experiment, find out what you want to do, and just make sure you're happy. Make sure you're happy and make sure you're progressing. The only thing that is possibly right about what everyone says is, the earlier you find out in life what you want to do with your life, the sooner you can get working on it. However, it's very, very hard to find out exactly what you want to do in life before you've given a lot of things a try. So experiment, travel, meet people, work hard, look after your body, and you can't really go wrong. Thank you for making it all the way to the end. I do appreciate you guys who stick around. If you did find any of it useful, please do consider liking and subscribing. As always, comment any other thoughts you have below. I do 2 videos every week. My socials are also in the bio. Really pushing my Instagram at the moment and posting there daily, reels, stories, everything like that. And I will see you in the next one. Until then, take care, guys.